Hey, it's Chris. So, crowdfunding, 7 games, plus or minus, that I am super anticipating over the next 2 months. 7 games that already have me going, okay, how am I going to budget? What is this going to look like? Anticipation, is it going to meet the reality of when I actually look at the crowdfunding page? Because we've seen some few hits recently, and we've seen definitely a few misses in terms of, okay, why should I get this now? What do I need to know? What's going to entice me to back it on crowdfunding as opposed to waiting to retail? Now, if you want to know the retail, strictly retail games I know you're talking about, that's a whole nother video. But what are the ones that have caught my eye? Some of them you're going to recognize. We're going for brand name recognition here from big companies, but we have a few that you probably haven't had your eye on as closely as well. So we're going to cover those in addition. Which ones am I hyped about? Which ones do I anticipate? Where is my money potentially going to be spent? Let's talk, because, it's what we do around here. So first up, we're going with it. I mean, it has to be the most hyped one, but it's also probably the one that's on this list that I look at right now and I go, there is also the highest likelihood that I do not back it as much as it is my next hyped one of the next upcoming 2 months. And that's Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era from Chip Theory Games. I don't know what to say. There were photos. Chip Theory apparently invited a couple high profile content creators, as much as I hate that word, content creators, over to their studios this past weekend, in the weekend that I'm filming this, and they've released a couple pictures as well of what it looks like. And spoilers, it looks very, very, very similar to Too Many Bones. The map setup, the neoprene mats with the holes that you put the dice into. So that both makes me happy and terrified at the same time, right? Because I got Too Many Bones and I said, whoa, the learning curve was just stupendous, and that's not what you want out of a game like this, right? Like this game, you don't have to have it to be simple and straightforward, right? But you don't want it to be so hard to get to the table. I mean, and again, as you Too Many Bones people have let me know, right? Like, this is an amazing game. This is a fantastic game. If you can get past the initial learning curve, and if you can learn and memorize all of the rote symbols that sometimes are intuitive, sometimes aren't intuitive, all the errata, all the minutia that goes along with it. And that's what scares me with this, is because if you don't, you know what, I'd rather spend my $250 elsewhere. Because that's the other elephant in the room, right? This is a premium product. There's going to be another premium product on this list as well. If you haven't looked in the timestamp below already, this is, it's a niche premium product. However, I say that lovingly because you're also going to get it not anywhere else. They don't go wide distribution. You don't get it cheaper at retail. It is always cheaper on crowdfunding. I don't care which of their projects it is. It holds its value, and you're going to get it cheaper here. You can literally make $20 to $30 on each of their products compared to the retail value if you sold them for just below the retail value price compared to what they sell it for later. So again, I don't do that as a buy and sell, save your money. Like, that's not me. I'm just not that person, and I'm okay with that. But I buy to play, buy to play, buy to play. And the other question, along with their properties that they put out recently, any of them, how many expansions are going to go with this? There's going to be 2, there's going to be 3 expansions. You know that. There's going to be an upgrade or 2. Are you going to see some crossover? Well, no, you won't see some crossover with this one, because this is Elder Scrolls, baby. This is not going to have other, maybe a few Easter eggs. But how much of a narrative campaign also is this going to be? Now we've seen the rise of the narrative campaign since Madara. I mean, this is the one thing that Too Many Bones really kind of lacked, the cohesiveness of that. Now, don't be wrong. I'm not saying you need that. Frankly speaking, I'd be completely okay without it. Give me a loose framework. Give me some directionality. Give me some objectives. Give me some vague scenarios to give me a few branching points. And I'm okay with that. But it needs to be accessible, even if the learning curve, going back to that point, after you're in, offers wide variety of depth. But the initial entry point, just like the freaking video game, needs to be able to delve into it easier rather than start it up here and keep it up here. You got to have something, because otherwise a lot of these games are going to be on the secondary market. And that's what I fear with that IP being thrown onto this, is it's going to be like Root all over again. Okay, that's number 1. That's enough ranting. That's enough raving. Number 2 here. Number 2, and this one's going to be very short and sweet because this one is very mixed. This is a coin flip. I have no details. February 28th, we're going to find out very closely. Huang over on GameFound, the remake, the reprint, the reauthorization of Yellow and Yangtze. I have Yellow and Yangtze. I prefer the wooden from it. It's going to be plastified, and we know that, and that's okay. There's also going to be the long rumored, wanted for a long time, expansion, the Royal Palace. And the big question on people's minds right now is whether or not Royal Palace, as a person who owns Yellow and Yangtze, is going to be compatible easily, or if they're going to offer anything in terms of, a wooden component element for people who have it, as opposed to people who are getting it now. Because again, I'll make the argument that if this is the route you're going to get this game, go get this game. This is a fantastic freaking game. I think I prefer it over Tigris and Euphrates. Anyway, that's going to be blasphemy in some circles, but I like it. Babylonia, though, we'll have a tougher conversation. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying. And so the plastic isn't going to be the make it or break it for me, but it's going to be whether or not I can get Royal Palace. And if I can make Royal Palace even work with Yellow and Yangtze, like I hope there is some adaptability that is being offered during this campaign. The expansion is like, I think even a free add-on or like $7 or something like that. So like, awesome, but is it actually going to hold up as one of the premier tile laying games of all time? I don't care who you are. The learning curve, again, this is a little steeper learning curve once you get into it, but boy howdy is this tactical and strategic and a whole heck of a lot of fun. Never gonna leave my collection. Is it easy to get to the table all the time? No, because you need 3 or 4 players. This game does not see the massive appeal, the massive success at a 2-player count. And that's okay. You get out Blue Lagoon for that instead. But Huang is going to show us on the 28th over on GameFound, and we will see. And that's why it's number 2, because if I could get just the expansion, boy howdy, boom, in it, day 1, no questions asked. There you go. Number 3. This is going to surprise people. Again, like I always give these games consideration. I'm still trying to pick up its predecessor in the trilogy. I'm still trying to pick up Wayfarers, but this is Scholars of the South Tigris. This is the latest upcoming one from Garphill, and this is coming to us in March. There's a question of how heavy this one's going to be. There's speculation, there's conversation, but there's no real information. All of those words ending in TION. Reminds me of the Penny Arcade Acquisitions Incorporated game that they did for their Dungeons and Dragons, where the Dungeon Master made a NPC that was talking lizard. He made it everything that the lizard said was just one word ending with TION. And emancipation, anticipation. Anyway, sorry. And he had a French accent. So anyway, I just, my brain. But this is Scholars of the South Tigris. And you have to acquire scientific manuscripts. And you're going to be doing it from all over the world, increasing your influence in the house and the linguists that are going to help you translate it as you go. The aim is to be, obviously, most victory points at the end, but you're getting these scrolls, increasing your knowledge across science, mathematics, 3 guilds, and retiring translators, though, after they do you faithful years of service. Game end is actually triggered by 4 Caliph cards once they've been revealed. But that's about all we know. There's not a whole lot of mechanistic knowledge. It's got every single sort of term that you would expect on Board Game Geek right now. Area majority, deck or bag building or pool building, dice rolling, hand management, rondel, tech trees, as well as worker placement with dice workers. And so we'll see. Now, the other issue is that the last couple campaigns, a couple promos has not been, or metal coins have not been my ilk of getting them. But that's why I'm trying to trade for a copy of Wayfarers right now. Like, I want a copy of Wayfarers to try it out because it appeals to me thematically as well as mechanistically. And so I want to see also, as people say with the other Kingdom trilogies, that they are all significantly different and people have a preferred one. Well, I'd love to be able to play Wayfarers so that I can see and compare it to Scholars, right? That is the ideal. And this campaign is going to be the second of the 3. So, you know what? Garphill, let's do it. Let's do it. Number four, you probably haven't heard about. This is the latest upcoming game from IV Games. You may remember them from their other games. The most recent being Mythic Mischief, Veiled Fate, Moonrakers, Those are the deluxeified games that are in this line of products. And so this is their next one coming to crowdfunding sometime in April. And we're getting a game, what they call of deduction, sneaky strategy, and resource management. You are, basically on this flying island, and you're going to be basically hunting for shards that are going to allow you to grant wishes if you can get enough of them. So, that's your currency that you're going. You're using these airships to travel, to explore, to area control, to find these star shards, and you're going to increase your presence on the island, allowing you to build buildings, giving you advantages, allowing you to collect better, getting more resources, as well as increasing the number of troops. So, only one wish is granted. You have to have the most stars. That's all the detail we have at this point. Deduction, bidding, and area majority are the three listed mechanisms here. So a little bit of a twist of what we've seen. That combination is a little bit unusual. So I'm intrigued to see what you can do with that combination of things. Now, the other side of things, this is a 1 to 4 player count. So how is that dynamic going to change with those mechanisms? So we'll see. Time will tell. But that's why it's number 4. Number 5, you've probably heard of this one, Galactic Renaissance. The second in the series by the designer Christian Martinez, the original, the other one that you probably already know of, Ines. This is another area majority game. Now, again, political trilogy. Political trilogy is what it's named on under Board Game Geek. And so that gives me hope that it's not just a pure area majority, right? Because if it's pure area majority, you know me, I'm not like a huge area majority fan. Now you add in political dealings, you add in tactical maneuvering. Okay, you've got me. You are building your team, your tactical team, to go along the way that's unique with a deck of cards that you will be slowly building up. Discovering planets, systems, connecting civilizations, expanding your influence, building embassies along the way in your galactic exploration and navigation. You are going to have to go to planets, new and old, and try to convince them to join your faction or your empire, your alliance, as opposed to somebody else's, and they're going to be trying to do the same thing. Now, how that is done and the fact that this has a modular board make me rather excited. It makes me more think that this could be a Eclipse, a Twilight Imperium for the Lieges, right? Something that is not 4 hours long, something that is not 8 hours long, something that is more accessible at a slightly maybe lower player count with a 2 to 4. Definitely, I'm still going to argue it's probably 3 or 4, but that's the intriguing aspect. And when you've got the pedigree of Ines in the first place, sign me up. That one is also sometime this spring, I believe in April. Number 6 is going to be a complete departure. You may have heard of this one. You may have seen this one. This is from AEG. Now, AEG, been hit or miss on crowdfunding about why you back on crowdfunding, why not? But you know what? I think they put out solid games regardless. And so every time I'm going to look, this one is no different. And this is Let's Go to Japan. But the mechanisms in this 1 to 4 player game are going to be slightly different when this one comes supposedly sometime in March to crowdfunding. Drafting, set collection, and storytelling. Storytelling probably being the most minor of those two, but making it more of a thematic incorporation. As over 13 rounds, you draw activity cards and strategically place them along different days of the week's itinerary, followed by the final round, which you go on the planned trip, activating your cards along the way. This screams accessibility. It screams just fun ease of play. I love set collecting. I love drafting. Boom, I'm in. Make it worth my while. I love Japanese games. I love Japanese themed games. So you can see right there why I'm hyped about this one. This just is, if it's priced right, it's going to be almost an instant back for me. You give me a little extra, give me some incentive, I'm in day one. So this is one that I'm, hoping that things go well. Last up on this list, number 7 here is FLOE from Pika Games. I've talked about this one briefly before, and this one is going to be different. This one is supposedly also going to be in March. And again, you have a journey across island icebergs where you're going to be sailing, fighting monsters, and just even, enjoying food as you're eating it as you go, depending on how you want to play this game. Drafting, movement, tile placement, variable asymmetric player powers, unique region to region movement that allows your heroes and your sailboats to navigate back and forth. And you're using the ice and the seas, not just counting grids on a square. So that's something different. Equipping, eating, learning skills, treasure, progress along it. It's not story-driven campaign, but you're going to have individual progress sheets where you unlock more content for your heroes and more game content overall. That's going to change the fate of the game as a whole. So, I mean, it sounds a little vague, but also sounds just kind of cool when you've got a time frame in terms of playing from 45 to 90 minutes. It's not like an Oathsworn. It's not like an Aeon Trespass Odyssey. It's just like that on a micro, maybe not micro, but smaller scale, sort of like the Euro style game of Revive that came out at the end of 2022, right? Where you're unlocking a little bit of stuff. You have the game, but it's ultimately still completely replayable once you have it. And it's just more as you unlock it. Or sort of like a That Time You Killed Me, which is sitting right over here. Unlocking more as you go along and as you play deeper. So those are the 7. Now I have 2 honorable mentions that I've got to talk about that I think also should be on your radar, as I would like to see myself backing at least one of them, but I could see myself going either way. The first one, Agueda. This is the latest in the combination of games that's going to be offered on the next crowdfunding campaign from 25th Century Games. This is Agueda City of Umbrellas. And this is the one from that campaign that has my eye the most. This is a combination of pattern building, worker placement, and tile placement in the city of colorful umbrellas is essentially what it is, because during this festival, that's what adorns the skies and attracts the tourists. And so what you're going to be doing is drafting tiles from a central board to your own row board, which is going to then allow you to move tourists to those rows and unlock from portions of the map. And then as you score, you're going to be, based on both the original placement of them, but also variable scoring objectives and shop cards that are going to change how you're playing each time. 1 to 5 players based on the real festival in Agueda, Portugal. That one definitely hugely on my radar. The last one here, again, I've been wanting to pick this one up at retail. And this is Ascension Tactics Inferno. This one is launching also on the 21st of February. I don't know what to make of this. I really want to get the original. From all I've heard, this is a very solid deck building skirmish style game. And when they have been done, they're kind of mixed results. I'm looking at what's the other one that I'm completely blanking on, the ice-based one that was sort of like 2 to 8 players. It'll come to me later. But there aren't too many that do this, and to do it well, I mean, I'm looking at like something like Senjutsu even, but this is more of even like a deck builder with this. And I'll be frank with you, I was not thinking this was going to be great when it came around the crowdfunding the first time. People have really liked it. And the retail version is not significantly different. The main difference is it's cardboard standees, not plastic. And so I was very happy that most of the exclusive stuff the first time around was plastic. But that also raises the point that I'm assuming the second version here is also going to be very much plastic. And so if I can get 90% of the gameplay at retail, and still they offered a huge chunk of gameplay, so you're not missing like a huge chunk. It's more like Blood Rage rather than, Zombie Side in terms of the content that you're missing that's exclusive. Like, I'm going to get it at retail. I've been still trying to trade to this day for a copy of the original. But, if they offer more incentive, more reason to get, a non-plastic version that's not going to be $150 for a $35 game at retail right now, then I'm seriously enticed. Because the elements that it does, the thematic incorporation, me love skirmish one-on-one with a huge deck building element. As a huge deck building fan, this is right up what I want to play on a routine basis as well. And that's the big commonality theme between all of these games, right? Theme, mechanistic, and just me, what I can get played. So there you go. 7 + 2 games, a little bit of everything. I don't joke about that. I talk about literally everything across the board mechanistically and almost always weight style as well. So almost the whole spectrum. Let me know what you think. What else is on my radar? What else is on your radar? What else do I need to have on my radar? Let me know. And, I have a Patreon if you want to, join in there too. That's all I got. No ramble at the end here. Stay classy. No rant. Nothing to bookmark and show your friends later about. I mean, it's still a good video though. So
Subscribe if you want. That's all I got. Peace out. Stay classy. See you later.